I just want to say that I know videos like this are a dime a dozen. Obviously everybody on the internet has something to say and wants to make themselves heard, and everybody has that right. It's a complete fact. Right here you're looking at, to the left you got the blood moon, to the right you got the regular moon, and then of course you've got the queen and you've got the king. In other words about it, this is the monarch marriage that the world will look at moving forward. You have the biological representative of the male chromosome XY in the male, and you have the biological representative of the female chromosome in the queen. And this is the proof in this is that we have a blood moon. Blood moons are obviously impossible. If you look into the science of everything, a blood moon can only be done if a certain entity is walking among a primitive species. In other words about it, there is a species trying to sell another person who is reincarnated in the primitive species, but obviously comes from another species. As you know, reincarnation has been sold throughout time. It's quite obvious that if we are in a brain, the brain remembers us, and therefore we can never stay truly dead. Because if we dream, our consciousness creates the dream, and with that, the matrix is a dream, and therefore the matrix remembers, and if the matrix remembers and is a dream, then it must be inside a brain, and if it's inside a brain, nothing is ever truly forgotten, because the brain has to remember everything that it has ever experienced. Although it may not be able to bring that up correctly all the time, what have you, we still have the simple fact that somewhere in the brain everything is being logged. So therefore nobody ever stays truly dead, because the dream has to remember past moments of a dream. With multiple generations, you have the brain growing. As the brain is growing, you have the brain remembering. So if we look at a life as a day or as a second, we can determine then that 65 million years ago was just it would be our older selves looking towards our younger selves, which is now. So with that being said, the beginning of the universe would have been conception. The end of the universe will be death. But obviously the universe could never truly stay dead, so it would have to wormhole to a whole nother existence, meaning that a sun just doesn't create energy out of thin air. You have to eat, you have to consume materials in order to create energy. A star has to work in this way. Where is that energy coming from? Well, we know that the star has energy coming from its center. Well, obviously, energy, materials, is not just popping up out of thin air at the center of the sun. Those materials have to be coming from somewhere. So if we can accept that a black hole is at the other end of our star, and it's all being funneled into one point of energy where all the mass in a black hole is being grinded and smashed and pushed and condensed. That's the key word there, condensed into one small point of energy, then we can determine that we are in a black hole right now. And we're just parts of matter that are so small that we're not being condensed down. So the high gravity inside that black hole that we are in doesn't have too much of an effect of our existence. Meaning that the black hole we are in is giant because we see it as one big universe. In other words about it, the star at the other end is huge. With that being said, that must be the pineal gland inside of the brain. Think about that.